Hello, all you tiny little beautiful people that live inside my computer. My name's Finn. Welcome back. I went on a little trip. It was enjoyable. I'm gonna go through it in the order that the events actually happened, because that'll be easier for me to remember stuff. But yeah, I had a little trip. It was quite nice, and I feel like talking about it a little. So, we're gonna do that. So, to begin, I guess, we have been planning on going down to Arkansas for my little sister's graduation. We've been planning that since January, but talking about it since November. And that's been fine. And I got to go from my employer. I was free to go. Didn't have to work those days and what have you. I have to work a lot over the next week or so, but it'll be alright. And then my girlfriend got a day off work so we could go, and then 3 days before we go, we realized that I had been planning it for the wrong weekend, and that the weekend that's coming up is the graduation weekend. So our planned weekend, where I had already paid for certain stuff and wasn't gonna work. So that was a little frustrating, but it's okay. Fast forward, Saturday morning, we get up, she takes a shower, I get all our crap ready, and then we go get in the car, and, we start our journey, which was about 11 hours of driving down there. The very first thing that happens is that we almost get nailed by a huge truck. Just a huge, 18-wheeler hauling a trailer that was, really long, but really long, but really short, and just, a flat bed trailer. And they almost, not the truck, but the trailer, because I guess they took the turn wrong and just almost took the car out with it. Luckily, there was room to back up and whatnot, and we got back and away from the issue, but, don't like that it was an issue to begin with. So there was that. That's how this trip started, which wasn't great. And then we listened to a lot of music. We listened to Epic the Musical, which is great. Listened to a lot of white girl bangers. Listened to a lot of Minecraft parodies. There were 2 or 3 Pitbull songs in there. I like Pitbull. There's just a lot of music listening to. That was fun. A lot of just talking about stuff, talking about life, talking about each other, talking about friends, family, And the drive down there was alright. It was long. Because it was, 11 hours, which is a long drive. A lot of sitting still, a lot of sitting up, a lot of figuring out what to do with your arms, your legs, getting comfy. Well, not comfy, but comfier. And that drive was fine. It wasn't great, but it wasn't, bad, really. It was okay. It was okay. We get down there, and I've got us an Airbnb that we stayed in. It was cute. It had a lot of pretty art. It was a nice, clean spot. They had a cute little back deck area that was really nice. I always feel weird about Airbnbs because I feel like I don't use them while I'm at them, because we're always I'm not there to chill out in the Airbnb. I'm there to go do X, Y, and Z. I'm there to go see my sister. I'm there to go see Hamilton. I'm there to go do this, and that, and I'm but I always feel like I don't know. It's such a pretty, home to be in, and then it feels why do I need all this? I feel like it, I don't know, I'm not using the space, really. I'm not cooking. I'll use the bathroom while I'm there, but I'm not there that often on you're not in, your Airbnb on trips very often, so I don't know. It was really pretty, though. We get there Saturday night and get all our stuff moved in, but what little food stuff we had and like the fridge and and whatever. Um, trying to think of what we ate. I think we just had McDonald's that night because I didn't feel like making anything. So I'm pretty sure it was we just got like chicken nuggets and that was it. So there was that, and then we watched some Better Call Saul. I've been getting her to watch Better Call Saul. We watched all of Breaking Bad, and then we've been watching Better Call Saul, which is my favorite show ever. I love that show. Oh my god, I love that show. So I've been getting her to watch that, and we're getting through it slowly but surely. Some big stuff happened in that. I don't want to spoil it. Whoa, I'm yawning. Wake up Sunday morning. Chill out for a minute. Both of us showered, cleaned ourselves, brush your teeths. Then got the car, went and picked up my sister because we got a week before the graduation. So instead of being there for the graduation, we just kind of got to hang out with her, which was probably better. It was nice. We went to a gas station, got drinks, whatever. Got like Slurpees and such. That was nice. Then we went to a mall and we looked in a couple nerd stores. There was one like anime store. They had like DVDs and Blu-rays of animes and stuff, and I don't care too much about that. There was mangas and whatnot, which I don't care too much about. There was a lot of plushies there though. Like there was just a lot of plushies of different stuff. There was a lot of Pokemon plushies. They had a section that was just Mario stuff, which I thought was cool because I fucks with Mario. There was like 9 different colored Yoshis and a bunch of Toads, a couple Shy Guys. There was Bowser, Dry Bowser, regular like Koopas. There was Goombas. The like squid that I can't remember the name of, just the white and black squid from Mario. Just a giant 1-up mushroom was there that you could get. Thwomp, a giant Goomba. Those were all cute. I thought really hard about like maybe buying the Dry Bowser plushie, and then I didn't because I was like, I don't know how much money I have. I don't feel like randomly deciding to do that. But I was like, that was cool. There was an arcade in that building, but it was there was like nothing, really. It was like an off-brand DDR, and that's like it. Like a couple claw machines that were like weird and not regular, like, instead of pick up the item, push the item. Weird. And then we went to a Five Below. We didn't get anything there because I got overstimulated. I was like, I don't want to be in there. This room's too big, there's too much stuff, I don't like it. So I didn't want to be in there. We then went into a Hot Topic, which was cool. I got a couple of shirts. I got the Springtrap shirt that I think is pretty fire. I think it's pretty neat. I like him. Oh, I got 2 more. Let me nab those and show them. I got this Bowser shirt. Look at him, being a cute little guy. Cute little dude. And then, got this Baja Blast shirt, which is pretty fire. And then I also got a pin at the Hot Topic. This little guy right here. Cute. There was also like a weird store that sold like all sorts of like candy and sodas and stuff. So we got Breaking Bad sodas. I don't have them. They're in my girlfriend's car. Maybe I'll post those in the community tab at some point. I don't know. But there was like a Heisenberg soda. There was a Los Pollos Hermanos. It's a horchata soda. It was pretty bad. The Walter one tasted like mouthwash. There was Schrader Bra, which is Hank Schrader's homebrew. Well, that was cool. Trying those was kind of neat. And then we went and we ate. We ate Hardee's. It was really good. I had a hot ham and cheese. It was fire. Haven't had Hardee's in a very long time. It was quite good. Then we went and saw a movie. We saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie with my sister, and we all liked that. Which is, I got the Bowser shirt so I could wear it into that movie because I thought it'd be funny. We went and watched that. That was really good. We liked it. My only real complaint with the movie was I feel like Bowser wanted to be homies and then he didn't. And then he wanted to be homies and then he didn't. And it just felt kind of like flippy floppy. But it's a kid's movie, you know. And also that's how Bowser is in Mario canon. He's kind of wishy-washy and back and forth. So, you know, I liked the movie. It was really pretty. It was really pretty. And the comedy was really good, and the references were really cool. I overall just really liked that movie. So, you know, whatever. But I had fun. Then we just kind of hung out for like an hour or two after that. That was fun. Then we went to the Airbnb, chilled out, watched more Better Call Saul, and then I watched like 1/3 of the movie Surf's Up and passed out. So then Monday morning, we got all our stuff moved out of the Airbnb, into the car. Then we went and we met with Amadon, who we haven't seen in like a year. And we hung out with him. We had Waffle House, which was really cool. And then we went to a flea market, which was silly, but there wasn't much going on. And then we went to like a game store, which was pretty cool. They had like D&D dice, they had like dice towers, they had a bunch of like Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards, blah 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 blah. They had like Lord of the Rings like sets for like making like a little board game world, and they had like all sorts of Funko Pops, and they had like art books for like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Mass Effect, and GTA San Andreas, and and that was neat. And then over on the other side of that building, there was like a game section, and then I almost died. I couldn't handle it. There was so much cool shit. They had like original Xboxes, and they had like the first Halo Edition Xbox, and they had like God of War 2018 edition PS4, and they had all these like old Super Nintendos, and they had a Famicom, and they had a Sega Genesis, and they had like old like Wii stuff, and they had a Virtual Boy up there, and just all sorts of cool game shit. And they had just hundreds of games on the shelf back there. That was cool. They had all sorts of like PS1 games, PS2 games, PS3 games, PS4 games. They had all sorts of Xbox 360, One games. They had Super Nintendo stuff, NES stuff. They had Genesis stuff. They had stuff for like Nintendo 64. They had stuff for the Wii. They had stuff for DS's, 3DS's. They had stuff for Game Boys. They had Game Boys and DS's. And I almost broke the bank because they had a 3DS XL that was like red with like spider webs. I was like, that's awesome. I don't like Spider-Man. Look at all this. I don't even like Spider-Man. But like I love Spider-Man. So I like almost did that, and I was like, no, I shouldn't. We used to have to drive 10 hours after this. I don't know. I can't. Even when you got a nunchuck for the Wii, so that was neat. But we had a good time. And then took our drive home. The drive home was so much longer than the drive there. The drive there felt like 6 hours, but was 11. The drive home felt like 20. It was just so long. It was just so long and so tiring. Then we got home at like 1:40 a.m., something like that. And then moved all our stuff in. And the cat said meow, 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 make a meow, meow, bow, meow, meow, for a while. I'm surprised they're not in here doing that now. The little babies. Poor little creatures. But, that's everything. That's all I've got about the trip. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Got overstimulated a bit. Spent a bit too much money. But I had fun. I had fun with Amadon. I had fun with my little sister. I had fun with my gal pal. I had a good time. I had a very good time. And that's all for now. I will see you guys Friday in the next video. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye.